friends get together so they can try things. Yell about it to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two friends, Nick and Marcus, get together every week to... Nick, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry,
gotta
Marcus. I'm a little
focus.
busy. No,
Nick, you
I'm
gotta
I'm
focus.
I'm texting all my friends to join the stream at
Yeah?
twitch.tv/now try this
Twitch.
cast. Yeah.
.tv at Now Try This Cast. Hello, everyone in the
Mhm.
chat. Oh my God, we
Yeah.
feel so loved by our
Guys,
wonderful, beautiful...
We are here. This is Now
fans.
Try This. I'm Nick.
And I'm Marcus.
Yes.
Nailed it. High five.
Oh,
Nice.
guys.
We
Oh,
did it.
we're so excited to be here live. If you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate your download, but come
Hell
join the
yeah.
family on Twitch. We are exciting. There are people in the chat. It's visceral.
Guys,
And
we
guys-
are trying to make our way to 50 Twitch followers. It is hard out here, especially when you're only streaming once a week.
Usually in this podcast, I challenge you or you challenge me to try
Uh-huh.
one of our favorite things, but that's not what's happening today.
What's
We've gotten
happening today,
another
Nick?
challenge from someone else. From
Someone?
a fan.
A fan?
One of you out there.
Wow.
Marcus,
Nick,
why the
how
hell
did they do
how
that? How did that
I was
happen?
asking
I beat you to it. No, I'll do it.
Okay.
Wow. You're asking
No, wait,
me,
let me give you a
Marcus?
cleaning. Let me give you a
Okay,
cleaning.
give
Let
me
me
a
give you
clean
a
one. Give
cleaning.
me a clean one.
Marcus, how in the world have we got a challenge from a fan out there?
What? A fan gave us a challenge? Nick, here's how you, a fan of this podcast listening at home, I'm looking directly at the camera, can give us challenges. You can go onto our Patreon to support the podcast. Guys, making a podcast costs money. And we appreciate all the help that you guys have been giving us. On the $5 tier, you can submit a challenge. And then once we have all the challenges for the month, we put up a poll on the website, and every fan, whether you're a $5 or $1 fan, can go on there and vote. And this month, the Val won, but god damn it, it was a wild ride to get there.
You mean the Vow, the HBO docu-series?
Yes, not the, what is it, 2009 movie with the Channing Tatum or whatever.
And Rachel McAdams?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you the journey that I've been on this past week?
Sure. Oh, wait, hold on. I was gonna say, is it about the tie that happened?
No, you can.
Okay, hold on. Let me say the tie. Guys, on Patreon, it got wild because there was a tie. So we were like, fuck. And also, February's a short month, so we were strapped for time. But there was a time we're like, you know what? The most fair thing to do is to put up the poll between the two winners and see what votes, what the vote says. And that led to another fucking tie. So it was very close. So on our Instagram, Nick was good enough to post a reveal of what ended up choosing by putting it in a wheel and having the fates decide.
And guys, you could have been a part of that journey if you followed us at Now Try This Cast everywhere. Join the community. Join us. Talk to us. And if you don't want to do any of that, if you don't have the money, if you don't have a Twitch, can't make an account, you know what you can do? You can leave us 5 stars on iTunes, just like Charlie Rambo did, who said, an orgasmic experience. Love the podcast. Keep it up. I look forward to listening to more episodes in the near future.
An orgasmic experience?
That is what they said, yes.
That is a wild thing to say on a podcast review. That is not about sexy things.
I don't know, Marcus. I think my voice is pretty goddamn sexy.
If you are at home having orgasms to our voices, I'm gonna say you're welcome.
Rian414 in the chat asked what episode that was for the Gasmic. They very specifically said it was our Dream Daddy episode. Guys, go check that out.
Oh, nice.
One of my favorites. Marcus.
Okay, what we're gonna say.
So listen, you do a wonderful job on the Patreon, right? That's your job. Full credit to you. You always give really nice, adept descriptions of what the challenges are and why we're doing them. I didn't read them this week. I only read the titles.
Okay.
No. You know what? I did read them. This is what happened. Okay, so I read the vow.
Uh-huh.
What I thought The Vow was
Uh-huh.
I thought The Vow was that miniseries on HBO
Uh-huh.
with Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman. And then when I read your description that I was about NXIVM, I was like, oh, I didn't know the Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman series was about NXIVM. And then I talked to my girlfriend
Oh,
about
no.
this episode, and she said, yeah. When I said Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant, she's like, it's about NXIVM. And she was telling me about the show. And I was like, yeah, people were like in the first 2 episodes, but then really were just there for the mystery at the end. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And it was the wildest. And then it was the next day when I said, oh
Uh-huh.
my God, that's called The Undoing. And it is not The Vow at
Nope.
all.
Nope.
And then
not at
all she
all.
said was, yeah, duh. And I'm like, but I wasn't on that page. And she's like, that's what I said. I was like, but I didn't get that. I was not on the same page. I did not
Oh,
understand.
no.
I did not.
Did you watch The Undoing instead?
I wanted. Listen,
You
here's
were
the thing.
excited. You got hyped
We
for
vote.
The
We
Undoing.
vote. Because I pay $5 a month for our Patreon. We vote on our own Patreon, and I was voting for The Vow repeatedly
Uh-huh.
because I thought it was Hugh Grant and
That's
Nicole Kidman
hilarious.
in a drama on HBO.
When I know that you're not like opposed to cult stuff at all, but I also know that it's not 100% your jam. So when you voted for it, I was like, that's interesting. But hey, I supported it. I support everything. Also, Nick just casually dropping that he has a GF. Congratulations.
But most importantly, let's
And a
give
shout out.
a big shout out to Rayon414 who gave us the suggestion this week of The Vow because she's a Patreon, because she leads this community.
Mhm.
This is her second time winning, guys.
Oh shit.
Can I be honest with you?
Uh.
I'm fucking tired of it. She can't keep winning. Join the Patreon, dethrone her. We need
Yeah.
other people to get their suggestion through. And that can only happen if you join the conversation on patreon.com/now try this.
Yes. And after a year, if you have the most challenges selected, I will mail you $1 to your apartment. Just letting that be known. So if you want my sweet, sweet $1 bill, got to get it on there.
Anyway, guys, so we'll talk about The Vow in a minute. Before that, Marcus, did we hit all our points?
We hit all of them.
God, we crushed it.
Yeah, we nailed
Marcus,
that intro.
what's going on with you? How are you doing?
Me, I'm doing fantastic. Mental health, great.
Great. So you're not
Physical
doing
health,
great. You want?
Great.
Oh, okay. So you're being lazy and you're not in a great place mentally. Do you want to talk about it at all, or should
Oh,
I accept
that's
your?
just between me and my therapist.
As
No,
it should be.
I am doing okay. I feel like trying my best to stay sane, like we all are out here
Yeah.
during this block party. And I don't know, just having a good time. I feel like managing my mental health has taken up most of my time. How about
Mhm.
you? How are you doing?
Same. You know
Sorry.
what? I'm about to try something tomorrow for the first time.
Oh.
I'm getting that sweet block party vaccine.
Oh my God. Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Guys, if I'm on my deathbed, you will all know about it because there wouldn't be a podcast edited or coming out next week. But I'm
also,
excited.
Nick, I don't know if you saw, but we just got our first Twitch donation. Thank you so much, Rotandam Boss, for the donation. That's awesome.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah?
Literally have no idea how it works. Don't know where it goes. Didn't know you can really do that. You mentioned it a long time ago, but I didn't know how it worked.
I said it
I
all
also
up.
don't even know the person you just said, so I am at a loss for words. Marcus,
Thank you. I mean, honestly, huge thank you. Also, thank you for popping our cherry. We appreciate it.
yeah, guys, if you want to pop more of our cherries, go ahead and donate on Twitch. We have plenty of cherries to be popped.
Okay, so Nick, The Vow. How did you feel when it turned out that this is what we got? When this
Not
ended up being the
when it
challenge,
wasn't the Hugh Grant,
and when it
Nicole
wasn't the Hugh
Kidman
Grant,
romp.
once you figure it out and settle down, like I'm gonna watch a cult show. Where were
I need
you
you
at?
to hold on. I need you to get it in your head because the poster for that TV show is
Is
like
it
Hugh
good?
Grant looking like and Nicole Kidman like leaning on his shoulder going like and it looks like
Uh-huh.
they have like divorce problems or marital problems.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what it's about from the poster. I had no idea, and then I
And you
thought it
were
was
so
NXIVM,
excited.
and I was so excited because first of all, there, Nicole Kidman doesn't kill it all the time. She's
What
not. Hold
made
on,
you
no,
think it
hold
was?
on, let me finish. So Nicole Kidman does not kill it all the time, but when she does, it's fucking great. Big Little
Uh-huh.
Lies, she was phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
I was a big fan of Eyes Wide Shut, the fucking, fucking the last
Yes.
directorial of Kubrick. But and Hugh Grant, I would say we're in a little bit of a Hugh Grant renaissance ever since Paddington 2.
I didn't
People
see Paddington 2.
well, he was phenomenal from what I hear. I also didn't see it. Someone gave us a challenge on the Patreon. And he's gonna be in the new D&D movie as the villain.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I was like, is he Keith? Is he the NXIVM guy? And is like Nicole Kidman one of the branded ladies? I was so ready.
Uh-huh.
And then I got this bullshit docu
Uh-huh.
series.
Uh-huh.
So here's what I knew about the vow. Here's what I knew. Yeah, Kubrick. I
Yeah.
say it weird. Is it Kubrick? Kubrick.
Kubrick. Kubrick. You could say either one, and we know what you're saying.
Anyway, what I knew about this was probably as much as everyone else knows. I
Mhm.
was a fan of Smallville, so my feed blew up when Allison Mack went to jail and like all that shit was happening.
Uh-huh.
But I never like dove into it.
Yeah.
Because it seems so weird from the surface that I just took the headlines and I was like, okay. And then I heard about a docu series coming out, and I was like, maybe I'll get to it someday. I'm in the middle of a pandemic. I don't need to watch this shit.
Yeah.
And that's literally as far as I've gotten. But I'm sure you have way more of a story because some of our newer fans might not might not know this. There's only one cult guy on this podcast, and it is not me, brother.
50% of this podcast loves cults. Okay, Nick? I look at my shirt. Hold on. This is my cult shirt.
Rise from your grave
It is
with the goat man.
Last podcast on the left shirt. Shout out to my boys over
Guys, if you want to
there.
guest last podcast on the left, you want to guest star on our show, just hit us up, and I'll try this
They
cast.
are way too. I've definitely reached out to them before for the podcast.
Guys,
but we're only getting bigger, guys, and someday
every
they will
fan-
spawn.
Every fan, go raid their comments. Let them know they need to come with your boys over here and join the podcast.
But yeah, they cover murders, they cover cults and stuff like that. And the reason that I like them over most of the cult things is that they take the cult leaders down. They take everyone. Oh my god. Hold on. Rotanum Boss just donated $100. So thank you very much for that. That is a lot of money.
Wait, hold on. What just happened?
Yeah, sorry. Hold on.
Hold on. I think you were trying to play really cool, but I think something just happened that I need you to not play cool about. What just happened?
Nick, our first ever donation donated a second amount. They donated $100.
What's their name?
Rotan Nambos.
Rotan Nambos, I need you to know I don't have 100 cherries. You've blown me away, and I am now cherryless. I have none left for anybody.
I think they've blown all of our cherries. Just all.
Yeah,
of
that's
our
right. Let's get some
collective
cheers in the chat.
Yeah, let's cheer him on or her. We literally don't know who they are.
Cheers to them in the chat.
In the chat. Thank you so much. That's huge. That's awesome. That's definitely gonna help us out. We have so many fees that we are slowly trying to pay off and upgrade things. I need a new camera. Nick needs new equipment. Just had to buy RAM recently. So
that paid for the RAM.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much. Hey, yo, you were downplaying your love for last podcast on the left, but I need you to ramp it up because I want them on the podcast. So Marcus, please again pitch me reason why they're amazing and why they should join us.
They are incredible people. They are some of the funniest people I've ever seen in my goddamn fucking life. I love them so much. I listen to them every single day that I get a chance. I've fallen behind because of the pandemic. I used to listen to them during work, and now I'm at home, so I'm still listening to them. Just takes me longer to get through while I'm home. But I love them. I think they're incredible. I bought their book. I have their shirt. I'm not usually such a fanboy of stuff. I feel like it's weird to idolize people in that way, but these guys are just so cool and so fun. But the good thing that they do, and the reason that I love them so much, is that they take all these serial killers, all of these cult leaders down a notch. They don't sensationalize them the way that typical media does. I think that media has an
Oh, that's so
issue
interesting.
with
Yeah.
serial killers and cult leaders that they tend to sensationalize them. They tend to glorify them and they tend to put them on a
Yeah.
pedestal. They tend to
Even if it's
market
in a
them as
bad way, right?
geniuses.
Like as this, like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but they tend to market them as geniuses in I think it's an attempt to make the cops feel better for catching them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I caught this guy and he was a fucking genius. So you know what that makes me? A super fucking genius. You know what I mean? I think it's that mentality that's also a part of it. And also we don't want to be caught unawares. We don't want to be like, oh, we didn't know about this, or like we don't want to look stupid. So by making them look more intelligent, by making them look like masterminds, then we make ourselves feel better about it
Yeah.
too. We're like, oh, we weren't duped. They were just so smart. They were just so incredible, you know? So my fear with watching this documentary, and the reason I don't really watch a lot of crime documentaries is because of that, because of the glorification of these people. I don't like to see them idolized in that way.
Yeah, no, I love that thought because I agree with you. That's not something I've ever thought about, but it's
Mhm.
totally something I also take issue with. And I'm excited to check out these boys at Last Podcast on the Left because I like that take on it. But Marcus, I do need you. That was like a nice 7. I need
Uh-huh.
just one quick 10.
No, I can't.
I need no, 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 no. Give me
All
a
I got
9.
is 7. That was my 9. That was my 10.
No,
it was
that-
so
then I-
passionate.
That was
That was the
not
best I
passion.
got. Oh my
All right,
god.
I'll do it for you then. Okay,
Do it
great.
for me. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Do it for me.
Last Podcast on the Left. If we had the opportunity to talk with you about call leaders here on our show, we would be humbled. We would be emboldened to continue our show forevermore, and it would be thanks to you. Please, Last Podcast on the Left, coming from your real fan, Nicholas. Please, every fan out there that listens to us, tweet at them, let them know we're here, let them know we're willing and we're wanting. And guys, I think this is the collaboration 2021 needs. What do you all think? Yeah, and they clap from the
21.
peanut gallery.
And
Yep.
everyone's clapping in the chat. I see claps
Yep.
in the chat.
I see claps.
I see booties clapping in the chat right now. Everybody
Okay,
loves
you
it.
know what? I was desperate because I was trying to make a point. Okay, you know, thirsty
yeah,
for
yeah,
Last
yeah.
Podcast on the Left. That's how I
I am
feel.
thirsty. I'm wearing their shirt. That was like I every episode I go through my wardrobe and I'm like, what's the most like this show related thing I can wear? And that was the Last Podcast on the Left shirt. That's my cultiest shirt.
Well, I peaked when I came in full costume
That
for the
was pretty good.
Bridgerton.
That's pretty good.
I've wanted to come in costume every episode since then, but my pocketbook hasn't been able to afford it.
That's crazy.
Marcus, had you watched The Vow or heard about The Vow before we got as a challenge?
I have not heard about The Vow, but I have heard about NXIVM. Like I said, through Last Podcast on the Left, and a lot of other podcasts and things like that have covered it. So my knowledge of it, I'm not going to say that I'm the most knowledgeable, but I definitely knew more than the first 2 episodes showed. So maybe we can kind of get into it a little bit.
Interesting, because that's super interesting because the 1 or 2 big things that I knew, it hit in those first 2 episodes, and I'm gonna not bury the lead, and this is the most frustrated I have ever been doing a challenge that was short.
Really?
If say we had gotten this suggestion and it wasn't a double tie and it wasn't this hoopla and we got this challenge a week ago, I would have texted you and insisted we added more episodes because they end it in such a way where I'm just like, tell me the whole story.
I will give
But
another
before we
shout
get
out.
to that, go ahead.
We got another $50 from the same person, and they said, Marcus, I didn't know there was text. I made it too small. It said, Marcus, I've played Pathfinder with you. So is it your friend?
Yeah, it's
we
fine.
played Pathfinder
Yes.
once.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
that's
who
so
it is.
awesome. That's good. That also gives me, because I'm also worried that like they might ask for it back or something and we have to like go through like a whole dispute thing. So I'm happy that it's someone that we know, being very generous. Thank you so much, dude. That's fucking awesome.
Thank you so much. We love you. We love our fans. We love people that go out of their way to listen to us. But honestly, enough praise for you, you fucker, trying to get all the screen time. You can't buy our love. That's not how this works. We're talking about the vow right now. We will get to you when it's time.
Guys in the chat, if you want to interrupt the podcast, just also donate. So, The Vow. We watched the first 2 episodes, which are each about an hour-ish, I think. And they cover, well, the first episode, I think, covers why someone might join the cult.
I have so much to say about what you just said. So
Okay.
I think the documentary, I'm just gonna put this out there, is well made. They do it
Mhm.
in a great way. I got the same feeling that I felt when I watched, I don't know if you watched it, Last Dance, which was that Michael Jordan
I
Chicago
have
Bulls
not watched it
documentary
yet.
on
I do
Netflix.
want to watch it.
Phenomenal documentary. The way
Yeah.
it pings back and forth between events and paints a story. A good documentary tells a really good story that feels narrative, even though it's just covering facts,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yeah.
why, what's the name of that Netflix, Making a Murderer, like, took off because of the way it's paced, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is paced in a really good way because you can tell it's hitting points, and because of the way that second episode ended on a cliffhanger, like, to do this in a docuseries, great. That, however, to do what they're doing in this great way
Mhm.
for a cult, the first episode has to pretty much be an infomercial
Yeah.
about the cult.
Yeah.
There's like a couple small little inklings about something being wrong, but
Mhm.
no one ever addresses it, and it's just
Yes.
you're just
Well,
blasted with
the
thing again that's great about next.
you make a good point. The whole first episode was an ad for Nexium, which is a wild take for a fucking docu-series
And it totally works
to
because of where
have.
they go, they totally do. But
Yes,
watching that first episode,
but if you just showed someone the first episode, I could see them being like, this doesn't seem so bad. I could join. Nick,
I
were
have
you
seen worse pitches from real life pyramid schemes that people have tried to get me to be a part of.
Nick, would you, based on the first episode alone,
Oh
consider
god.
were there things that you saw at Nexium and you were like, yes, I could totally join this cult?
I hate everything about this question. So here's the thing. I think that, oh gosh, I think strong-willed people and weak. That's not. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so
Okay,
I
now, hold on,
think.
hold on. Before you get into it, let me just
Uh-huh.
let me warn you, Nick,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
everyone who's a part of the cult is like they're victims. They're all survivors of their trauma. It's not their fault that they fell for these things.
Yeah. Hashtag trigger warning.
Nick, now go.
I think it's so easy to prey on people
Uh huh.
because what a person wants more than anything is community. And I
Yeah.
strongly, strongly believe that. I believe that so much in how you and I love games and how you love video games and I love D&D to the extent where like we've made it like
Yeah.
passions in our home and in our hobbies. So because we're looking for something to grab onto.
There's been
We
so many
where
oh, sorry. There's been
No, go
so
ahead.
many books written on tribalism, the fact that we need community and the fact that like
Yeah.
it's built into our DNA to seek others out.
Yeah. So the concept of anybody at all saying, "Hey, you seem like you're not being seen. I will help you be seen." And just that, me just saying that makes anybody go on cuz every single thing that they're saying in these clips here, every single thing, none of it seems out of place from therapy to self-help groups to coaching seminars to fucking TED Talks to fucking YouTube motivational people. Like
Mhm.
I watch random YouTubers like Megan Batoon
Yeah.
who just happens to like talk about her lifestyle and like I thrifted this week and like look at what I thrifted, but then so sometime we'll sit down and like give advice about life. She just released a video that's like the most important thing I learned from therapy. And I watched the whole 12-minute video because it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah. And that's what they're doing here. And it fucking works.
It does. So
I
here's
don't blame a single person who started it. Like, I don't see any person who has joined this at the beginning from what I've seen, and I say,
yeah.
idiot, dummy. I don't think
Yeah,
that at
no.
all.
No,
Because
not at
all it
all.
is like, hey, you seem like you're unhappy. Can I try to make you happy?
It's
And
so
they
close.
say yes.
Yeah. It's so here's the thing that's interesting. So the cult is led by this man named Keith Raniere, and
Keith Raniere.
I hate
have
him
so much.
so
We have,
fucking much, but
we
we'll
have
get
so
into
much
it.
to say. We'll
We'll
get
get
to
into
Keith.
it. But it's led by him, and what he is really good at is taking ideas that already exist in the world, philosophies that already exist, and then just saying that he came up with them and taking credit for them. So he seems like he's intelligent. So that
Yeah.
he comes across as this genius with these radical ideas when anyone who's ever taken a philosophy 101 class knows exactly what the fuck he's
Here,
talking about.
Here, and I'll
You
prove
know?
this to you. Here we go. I'll prove this to you.
Yeah.
Marcus, you seem unhappy. Is there something standing in the way of your life?
Yeah, there is.
Well, sometimes when I feel as if something's standing in my way, I realize that it's me and I'm standing in my own way. Do
Oh
you think
wow,
that maybe it's you who's might be standing in your own way?
that's so profound.
Sometimes I think people who stand in their own way feel as if they aren't giving themselves permission to be more than
Oh,
themselves.
okay,
Marcus,
wow.
all I want to do is give you that permission.
I take it.
Would you let me help you? Give yourself that
I
permission?
want you to help me. Yeah.
You're in my cult. There we go. Boom. Boom, baby. Cult leader. That's me. Here we go.
But that's the same thing. It's that thing. He's taking things from Nietzsche. He's taking things
Yeah.
from Ayn Rand. He's taking things that like have been cores of the basis of many philosophy classes, and he is just running with it. He is taking these little bits and pieces, picking and choosing what he wants to fucking regurgitate to these people who aren't philosophers, who haven't studied these things, and
Yeah.
just fucking manipulating them. He's using everything. He's using therapy tactics. He's using like
Yeah.
mind control 101, like
Yeah.
brainwashing strategies. He's following every fucking cult rule book. Like every fucking
With
thing that you
with
do.
the sashes and the
Yeah.
tears and the like, it's so like every time, Marcus, we've talked about this,
Mhm.
but I have been pitched to do pyramid schemes 4 or 5 times in my life. Why? Because I'm a good speaker. People assume I'd be able to sell well, and honestly, I would fucking sell the shit out of these cults if I was fucking in one. You fucking know it too. I would fucking make people join so much.
Nick,
But I have
hold on. What was the multi-level marketing thing for? Do you know?
what do you mean?
So a lot of people not from New York City join pyramid schemes or like end up in multi-level marketing schemes or like end up having them targeting me. I've never had one except for
Oh,
diarrhea tea is the only thing that I've ever
I've
known
never had that
anybody
one.
that
I've
I've
had
seen do.
the electricity one twice. I had
What's the
a energy
electricity one?
drink one. I had a coupon one, and I think there's one other that I'm forgetting. But there's just a lot. There are a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
it's so interesting.
Oh, there was a vacation time one, a timeshare vacation-y time one.
Oh,
Anyway, the point is to answer your question from way back when. Yes, I at the right point, at the right time. There's it's a great example, I think. So I do those 7 a.m. dance parties, dance break when the world was open up before this
yeah,
block party,
yeah.
right? A big part of that is you're going 7 a.m. to go to a dance party, and there's no drugs involved, and it's just your spirit waking up with the day. But when you go, there's like a speech at the beginning of all like let's all feel connected, let's go, and then at the end we all sit down and they give us like a little poem intention cards that we all meditate together and like think about our day and go out into the world new. And I feel great about it, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens the next time I go. They just add a little probing question in there that I answer. Great. The next time that I go, they offered me a membership that I can go to a special dance party that no one else could go. I would pay, right? The next one and then that's how it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in this. It's like you said earlier, it's people's just natural instinct to seek
Hey, into the hold
community.
on in the chat. This is not a call. It's a dance party, and get off my back.
The difference between a cult and the dance party is that the dance party lets you leave without making you send them nudes.
That is the difference. That is the difference.
But there are so many things that are definitely adjacent to cults. So many things that we ourselves just get so tricked into. A lot of times when you watch cult documentaries and you watch people who left cults talk about them, there's always a moment where they look around and they're going, "What the fuck? Like, how did I get here?" And it's like you said, you made a really good point. It's the slowly turning up the heat with the boiling frog. You know,
Yeah,
like it's that
totally.
whole situation. Little by little, you don't start off with the crazy. You start off with something that just seems very reasonable and set in reality. That's why they have this 5-day intensive that they start everyone off with. It's like, here, I'm going to help you work through some of your problems through what is essentially therapy, which there's like a lot of people, still have problems going to therapy. A lot of people see it as a negative
There's a
thing. It's still
stigma.
a
Yeah.
stigma attached to it. So a lot of these people also might have never gone to therapy before. So someone just simply asking them a couple of probing questions as to like why they feel this way and forcing them to reflect on themselves helps them out. And they're like, fuck, I feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I feel good. I want to keep feeling good. So then they come
Honestly,
up again.
I don't think it's a hot take that everybody should and could benefit from being in therapy at least a little. I don't think
Yeah,
it's a hot take. I think that's
no,
very accurate. You know.
100%.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to. There's so much to talk about. We could talk forever just about what is a cult and how you get there. But there's just specifics in this show that I just found fascinating.
Mhm.
So the whole show, at least so far, mostly takes the vantage point of Mark, who is one of the guys who joined the cult and got pretty high up. Was pretty
Yep.
much like, right up there with the Vanguard and the Prefect.
He's a movie maker.
And and he joined the cult, and he was, a lot of the first episode was narrated by him amongst other people like Sarah, who was all their main character so far in this first episode, about you know what the goal was and how it started, and it all seemed great. And even they were like, and it seems stupid because we were wearing these sashes, but then the sashes became important because
Mhm.
as we grew, the sashes grew. And I just, a good documentary always gives you, a way in, right? And
Yeah.
I felt like I was there with them, because I was like, yeah, yeah, no, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, yeah. Oh wait, why did those people kiss each other in the lips? Oh, let's ignore that. Okay, wait, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Uh-huh.
That's
Okay, you're right.
exactly it. Little by little, there's like things that are just weird, but you accept it because you see the reward of whatever it is. You're like, you know what I'm getting from it is better than whatever it is. And the cult leaders think they're fucking geniuses. They're like, oh yes, look at everything I'm getting away with. How could they? All these stupid people. Blah, blah, blah. And the reality is, people see the shit that's going on. They just are either one, they're just like, oh, whatever. What I'm getting from it is more than whatever kissing someone on the lips. I'd rather kiss someone on the lips. But the second thing is also the sunk cost fallacy, where people think that they've given too much to the cult and that they're too invested in it to leave.
Oh, what was that called?
The sunk cost fallacy.
Oh wow. Is that a
And so
gambling thing? Is that a fucking
it's
video game thing?
it's a life thing. It's a fucking life.
I've never heard
thing.
it, but it makes
It
sense.
it applies to everything. It's why people
Hmm.
stay in like relationships, because they're like, I've already given like 4 years
Oh.
of my life. I should stay to try to make it work. It's like it's just something built within us where we kind of weigh things that way. And it might be a capitalism thing. I don't know. It might be like a thing that's just in our DNA, but we kind of weigh things out that way. And
That's
so
crazy, because do you remember we just had a conversation with some friends of ours, and one of them pointed out, yeah, but you've been together a long time, and that's got to count for something.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you and I were like, no,
No.
that doesn't mean anything. It literally
Yeah,
means nothing. Time
exactly,
is
yeah.
time.
Yes. It doesn't
Don't
mean
waste
anything.
more time.
Exactly. If anything, getting out of a bad relationship or whatever is
Yeah.
better. 'Cause
Ooh,
you
we're
have
so
more
healthy.
time
Look at
later.
us.
Look at us. We've grown so
Oh,
much.
We're so, guys, if you want to
But
join the cult, you just gotta join the Patreon.
but the sunk cost fallacy is another reason why people are in the cults, right? Like these are expensive. There is a monetary value to joining the cult. You have to pay money for these classes. You have to pay money for all this stuff. So once you're in for $1,000, $2,000, then you feel as though you might as well keep going. You know?
Yeah, while I think you and I both agree that we strongly disagree, I get it. I totally get that
100%.
frame of
It's
thinking.
so easy to fall into that.
Yeah.
So easy with anything, with jobs, with relationships, with cults, with like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just an easy mindset to fall into.
Now, here's the thing. I think it's so interesting because almost all cults and all things like this, they all come with like a figurehead, right? Like somebody at the top that's like kind of manipulating things. Marcus, do you think you're good at understanding the mindset of what a person at the top might be thinking and the words that they're saying
This
to
sounds
the
like
people underneath them?
this sounds like you're leading into a game.
Let's
good.
go to the clip. This is a game.
What was that?
Now try this trivia. Now try this trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia this.
And we're back.
All
It's
right,
very
Marcus.
short.
This game is called Canvassing for Our Club, Cult or Church. Who knows? This game has
Okay.
been brought to you by Lexi, my girlfriend, and
Oh, name drop.
we'll-
Shout out to Lexi.
shout out one time. But yeah, I'm uncomfortable. So I have 10 quotes here, and we have to guess whether this was from a quote from a cult leader
Mhm.
or a spiritual / religious leader. Now,
Oh,
I know
it's the
there's an
same.
argument to be made that they're the same.
Sometimes.
But
Okay.
I think you understand. And then
Okay,
a bonus
I get it, I get
point
it.
if you can guess which one.
Okay, I got it. I got you, fam. I got you.
Now I'm playing against. Do you want to play it together or against each other?
I mean,
Because I don't
in
know
the
the
sake,
answers.
in the sake of cultitudes, let's play together.
Okay. Guys, if you want to join this religious slash cult with us, play along at home. All right. You ready for number 1?
Yeah, let's go.
You're the devil as much as you're God.
That sounds like Keith Raniere. That just sounds like Keith Raniere straight up. Sounds like some shit he would say. Sounds like some of the shit he says. So I'm gonna go with cult leader, and I'm also gonna guess Keith Raniere.
Hold on, I need to say it in a Keith Raniere like
Okay,
way.
yeah, do
Okay,
it.
okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Okay,
set you up.
okay.
Let me set you up. You got your glasses. You just finished crushing ass at volleyball. You
Volleyball?
got your little shorts. And you are fucking ready to go.
Let me do a handstand really quick.
Yeah, do a hand cannon. Show off that strength. Show off that fucking core, my dude.
You're the devil as much as you're God. Nailed it. All right,
Pretty good.
I back you up.
I
think
would
it's
cast you as Keith Raniere. You could do it.
Could do it.
You're too tall.
He's such a like short little stump of a
little
man.
guy.
He's so not into. He seems like somebody that even I, who was made fun of by everyone in high school, and also like was made to cry from bullies, would also make fun of.
So, okay, here's the thing. Short men are
Guys,
not,
it's never okay to bully someone
never bully
unless they're
anybody.
Keith Raniere.
But also short men are just like, they have this anger in them. They have this need to prove themselves that is wild, and you see it in Keith Raniere. I'm not saying all
that's
short
funny.
men are evil. This is not like I'm not a hot take on short men. But
Yeah, I'll say it. All
but maybe
short men
they
are
are.
evil. All
Maybe
short-
they are. Maybe they are.
That makes
I don't
sense to
know.
why you're so tall and you barely give a shit sometimes. You're like, whatever. Because you're
The
already so
height.
tall, you already look down in the world, you're like, everyone's
Yeah.
peasants.
When you
Okay,
when you can
so-
look down on the world, who cares?
So we're gonna say it's a cult and it's Keith Raniere. Oh my god. In the notes, there's a little graphic that says don't cheat. Nobody likes a cheater to make sure I didn't
that's
cheat.
nice. Thank you,
Okay.
Lexi, because yeah.
Yeah.
Without that guilt, Nick would have been looking at those answers.
It is a cult leader. We did not get the bonus point though. It's not Keith. You want to guess one more
okay.
time to guess who it is, cult wise?
Cult wise. Charles Manson?
You got a bonus point,
Yeah!
my friend. Boom!
Woo! He's
Charles
the other
Manson
one. He's
was-
the other
she
one that
also-
I felt like would have said that.
She also gave us a bio so we could learn about these people because I honestly don't know too much about them. Charles Manson was an American criminal and cult leader. In mid 1967, he formed what Lexi's a teacher. In mid 1967, he formed what became known as the Manson family, a quasi commune based in California. Oh, that was what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His followers committed a series of 9 murders at 4 locations.
Next
I know
one.
wow. Okay. Number 2. The world doesn't belong to leaders. The world belongs to all humanity. This sounds like it came straight out of the documentary.
Yeah, I would say spiritual leader on this
The
one.
world doesn't belong to leaders. The world belongs. Can I say JFK? Is he a spiritual leader?
No, I would say
Sounds
like
like a JFK
Gandhi or
The
like
world
the Dalai
doesn't
Lama.
belong to leaders.
Yeah.
The world, but you know the no pointing thing.
Mhm.
The world belongs
point
to
with your
all
thumb in
humanity.
politics.
Ah,
Okay, I'm gonna say
I agree. Who
I
do you
think it's the
so?
Dalai Lama. Who do you
I'll
want to
go
go
with that
with?
answer.
You sure?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll pick a different person. I think it is spiritual religious, but it seems more like I don't know. It seems more like I'm gonna say Buddha.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'm gonna say Buddha. In my reality of the way I view the world, in Buddhism, Buddha was a real person. God damn it, it was a fucking Dalai Lama, you
I was
asshole.
right.
All right.
Ugh, I'm killing this game. I know my cults, guys.
This
I
is
know
so
my
funny
shit.
because this one is way shorter. It's just the 14th Dalai Lama is the spiritual leader of the Tibetan people who wrongfully endorse Keith Raniere. Whoops. Number 3. Wretched are those who are vindictive and spiteful. Wretched sounds fucking Catholic.
I would say
Wretched
religious.
are
Yeah.
those who are vindictive and it feels like
yeah, I
mass.
agree. Wretched are. I feel like that sounds some religious shit.
Okay, who do you think it is?
Jesus. What's Catholic? I'm not good at like Christianity.
I think it's
Catholicism.
I think it's Judas. think it's
No,
Judas.
wait. It's wait, who says things in the Bible? I guess
Moses?
God?
Moses.
it was Moses.
I'm gonna
I-
say Moses.
I'm gonna say God.
Yeah, I don't think God
or
never
Jesus.
speaks in the
I'll
Bible.
say Jesus. Jesus.
Because Jesus is God. We're doing
Yes.
Catholicism.
Yeah.
It was a religious leader. We got a point there, but it was
Okay.
Pope Francis.
He's
He's the present day Pope. The
I didn't
head
know
of the
popes
Catholic
could
Church
say that.
is who he is. Doesn't need a bio. That's
I thought popes were just kind of mutes. I thought
you
they'd show
totally
up
could.
and they're just like, that's it. Silent
Alexa
the
could have
whole
totally
time.
gave me a bio because I don't know shit about Pope Francis. Is this one of the good popes or one of the bad popes? Is this the
I
one that's
think
like
he's
been
one of
being
the. I
like,
think
"Hey,
he's
gay
like the
people are
woke pope.
okay"?
Yeah. He's the woke pope. As woke as you can be when you're like, hey,
Yeah.
you have to say gay people are okay.
Number 4, the way to happiness requires that one set a good example for others. This sounds like a mom. The way to happiness requires that one set a good example for others. Fucking Mother Goose? Fucking what?
Is Mother Goose a spiritual leader though, or a cult
yeah,
leader?
you're right. Not of the
What was it
those.
again?
The way to happiness requires that one set a good example for others.
Say it like you're trying to
Mo-
fuck me. Hold on. Say it like you're trying to fuck me, like a cult leader.
okay. The way to happiness requires that one set a good example for others.
Wow. You know
Yep.
what?
You know who I think it is?
Who?
Mother Teresa.
I would say this. I want to keep going with my gut, and part of me wants to say cult
Oh, okay.
because that's the vibe I first got. That's why I wanted you to say it sexy to me.
Hmm.
But
Who do you think it is?
who's? Man.
You would know better.
I don't
than
know.
I.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're right. It does sound like Mother Teresa too. So I'll say cult. You go with that, and you have Mother Teresa, and I don't have anyone for my cult answer. So
Great. Well, I'm wrong. It was a cult
whoa,
leader.
really?
And you're gonna be mad
Okay.
because you know exactly who it is.
Is it Raniere?
No, it's L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh,
Guys, if you want to hear a whole conversation on Scientology, go back and check out our last challenge, Going Clear, the documentary that we did
Yes.
a year or so ago about Scientology. Guys, check out that episode. It was a great one.
I was talking to Darren about this, and I was just on the like L. Ron Hubbard. This Raniere feels like he is pulling a lot from everything. Like I said earlier, taking a lot from philosophy, taking a lot from like other shit. I also feel like he was copying Scientology too, because he was aspiring to
very
be
similar.
something similar to that. You know,
It's
like
just
when
without the alien.
yeah, without the aliens. When you are attempting to start a cult, you either have to go religion or science. Like you got two options. So he went the science route, and the only predecessor to him, because he's a fucking copier, he copied L. Ron Hubbard, and it was. But I like L. Ron Hubbard a little bit more.
Everything that Keith was doing in here sounds like Dianetics 100%.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, L. Ron Hubbard was an American author of science fiction who founded the Church of Scientology. And Scientology attributes its genesis to Hubbard's discovery of a new line of research that man is most fundamentally a spiritual being, a thetan.
He lost. I would say that is one cult leader who definitely like lost control, and like it got away from him in a big way.
Oh, you think he was just like, oh, I'm just gonna make a little money, and then I was like, then he.
I think it takes a certain amount of ego. Like I do think he was a bad person. I do think that
Sure.
he like because he participated in like weird fucking like naval cruise bullshit or whatever that he had.
Yeah, well, he spent his last 6 years on his yacht, secluded.
And he was a piece of shit also. But
I understand what you're saying though.
it just continued without him and has grown in a way that I don't know if it would have if he was like still in charge.
Okay, number 5. Death is not a fearful thing. It's living that's cursed. This sounds like Robert Pattinson in The Devil
It sounds
All
like
the
an
Time
edgy
from the
thing.
Netflix.
It's the
Death is not a fearful thing. Oh, yeah. Death is not a fearful thing. It's living that's cursed.
I want to say I feel cult, but I want to say religion.
I also feel cult, which is why I want to say religion as well.
Okay.
But no, but would a religious person say it's living that's cursed? They wouldn't say that. That's a
No.
cult thing.
This
Like about
sounds
life
like it's from a
being-
fucking musical. This sounds like Rent. Like
Death is not a fearful thing. It's
Yeah.
living that is cursed.
fucking dude, that was perfect. It's a fucking line from a musical.
And I think it's a cult. I don't know.
Okay,
Cults.
I'll go with cult. If you feel confident on that, I'll go with
What are some other cults?
Let's see.
I only know Scientology and NXIVM.
There's
Cult,
Jonestown,
cult.
those guys.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna
The
say.
People's
You know what?
Temple.
You know what?
Some might say Mormons
I know what
are
my
a
guess
cult.
is. That's what I was gonna say. My guess is that it's Mormon. It's John Smith. I'm gonna say, and this is
Oh,
both.
Nick,
It's a cult
hold
leader
on. There
and a
you are.
religious leader.
I would say, it could be. It sounds like Jim's Jones, but I don't know. It could be anybody. Let's go. You want to go cult leader?
The answer is fuck. It's Jim Jones.
Oh shit! Yeah!
Wow. Jim
I'm
Jones
so
was,
good at this game.
You really
I'm
are.
glad
Jim Jones
my
was
fucking
an American
shit-
cult leader who founded the People's Temple in Indiana in the 50s. See, I know nothing about this. Jones and his inner circle orchestrated a mass murder suicide of himself. Oh, is this where the stereotype of everyone drinking the Kool-Aid comes from?
Yeah, and I have to put on my nerd glasses here and point out that it was actually Flavor Aid that they drank. It was not Kool-Aid. It's a
Can I
common
be-
misconception.
Can I say something where I'm a total jackass because I could have just kept reading,
Uh-huh.
and in what was became known as the Jonestown Massacre, Jones led more than 900 men, women, and children to their death in a mass suicide via cyanide-laced punch, thus spawning the metaphor "Don't drink the Kool-Aid." It's literally
Yeah,
good
there you
job,
go.
Lexi. It's literally in it. Number 6. You exist in time but belong to eternity. I just want to slap whoever said this.
Ooh.
You exist in time
Oh,
but
God.
belong to eternity.
That sounds spiritual leader.
I think it's
I'm going
spiritual,
spiritual leader.
and I think it's who's the meteor guy? Fucking
What meteor
who's the guy that talks like this? He talks
know.
like this. We're all made of stars. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, it's a spot on
The guy
impression.
who said Pluto wasn't a planet?
No, the guy who's like fucking who's the guy the fucking guy who's always like the cosmos is made up of he's like this is the famous the modern day Bill Nye. What's his name?
I don't know what you're talking about. What are they, an actual scientist? Or are they spiritual leader?
Yes, they're an actual scientist.
This is not a scientist.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Thank you, Rhiannon. Neil deGrasse Tyson. See,
it's still
spot perfect.
That's the guy who
perfect,
said Pluto wasn't a planet.
I also think he said this.
But he's not
That's
a
my
religious leader, Nick. He's a scientist.
I don't think you can tell me who a religious leader
Okay.
is. It also says
Okay.
spiritual leader. He could be a spiritual leader. I spiritual think I came
Okay.
from Stardust.
No,
What's your guess?
I think it's Gandhi.
Okay, I know it's a cult.
Oh shit.
It's Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh.
Oh, from Wild, I think, and then it's Wild Country. That guy.
Yeah. He was an Indian cult leader who created a spiritual practice of dynamic meditation, and he started the Rancho Rajneesh Commune in Oregon in the 80s. Many people were attracted to Rajneesh and his teachings largely due to the embrace of materialism and sexual hedonism. Often showed off his wealth through his clothing and material possessions, and his cult famously known for organizing habitual drug-induced orgies. Netflix series Wild Wild Country is based on him.
Yeah.
Huh. Get out of here, Rhiannon 414. You don't get any more challenges. You've gotten enough. Sit down. Okay. Number
But also,
7.
please continue submitting challenges. Thank you so much. We love all the participation on the Patreon.
Ooh, I like being bad cop. This is fun. Number 7. Suffering is a gift. In it is hidden mercy.
That is
That's
Buddha
that. Oh, really?
or Keith Raniere.
Oh, you're. My instinct was Keith, and then you said Buddha, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I'm gonna say Buddha, spiritual leader Buddha.
Okay, let's see. I think you're right. I think it's Buddha. It's a spiritual leader, but it's
Okay.
Rumi, who was a 13th century Persian poet and Islamic scholar.
Oh.
Yeah, so same thing.
Same thing. He's
no.
Buddha adjacent. It's fine.
I'm gonna have to look this up. Suffering is a gift. Interesting. All right, number 8. You educate a man, you educate a man. You educate a woman, you educate a generation.
I'm gonna say oh God.
My instinct is cult because what religious spiritual leader gives a shit about women? But the cult leaders pretend to.
But cult leaders pretend to like women, especially
Yeah.
Keith Raniere. His whole like pseudo feminist bullshit was like a cover to get laid.
Yeah.
So I'll say cult leader also.
Okay. Do you have any ideas which?
I want to say David Berg.
This
I don't know.
This one's complicated because this is religious leader arguably a cult though debatable. Brigham Young,
Brigham Young. Oh, Mormonism.
the
I
religious
said
leader and
Mormonism
second
earlier.
president of the Church of Latter-day Saints. He founded
Mhm.
Salt Lake City and served as the first governor of the Utah Territory. Interesting.
Brigham Young. Yeah.
Huh.
Hey, if you want to be successful as a cult, you just need to get official religious status from the American government. That's all it takes, guys.
That's
That's
why
what
Scientology is
Scientology
still
did.
there.
That's what Mormonism did.
Do you get creeped out anytime do you feel weird every time you have to watch a movie with Elizabeth Moss in it?
Who's that?
She's the
The
girl
answer's
that's
no.
in Invisible Man.
Oh, okay.
Well, because she's a good actress and she does her job well, and I don't mind
Yeah.
her in things, and she's in a lot of things, but she's a Scientologist.
Oh, really?
It's the same way I feel about Tom Cruise stuff. I'm like, yeah, Tom Cruise,
Oh.
fucking, you go running around, jumping out of planes, and then it always goes back to, but he is a Scientologist.
Nick, you know what I heard recently about Tom Cruise? And I have no way of this isn't true at all, but it is funny.
Guys, these
every
are
time I
true
hear it.
facts coming to you from Marcus.
You want to hear? You want to hear what it is?
Yes.
Apparently, people in fish shops have been saying that he goes and grabs a fish and then goes to their bathroom and fucks it and just leaves it there. And then he just goes away and disappears. And there's just a fish full of Tom Cruise semen left in the bathroom.
And then they hear the song, Tom Cruise semen. It's the best semen around. Tom Cruise semen.
There's no way to prove this. There's no way to know if this is true.
But here's the thing, Marcus. There's no way not to prove it.
Boom.
Boom. Number
You're
9.
Here first, guys.
Number 9. We do, in all honesty, hate this world. Huh.
God, that sounds like some emo shit.
Huh.
Like that would be on the screen before emo music video. Like that quote, then whoever said it, and then it'd be like, cut myself into pieces. This is my last resort.
We do, in all honesty, hate this world.
Yeah, woo, rock on. Yeah, it sounds like some edgelord shit.
So it's spiritual religious leader, and it's fucking... I can't even make a joke because I don't even know any fucking punk bands. I don't even know any emo I couldn't think of a single one in that moment.
What's the most like rockin' cult?
A Korn? I don't fucking know. You know what? I think it's Cult, and I think it's what's the fucking clown face people? And they're called like Juggos.
Oh, Insane Clown Posse.
And
Juggalos?
what's the people? Juggalos. I think it's Juggalos. That's my guess.
Okay.
Oh, Papa Roach. That is one. That's yeah. It does sound like Papa Roach. It's cult leader. It's Marshall Applegate.
Oh, from Heaven's Gate.
A military man turned attempted professional singer. So we're not that far off.
Not that far off. He was
American
some
cult leader
fucking songs.
who founded what became known as the Heaven's Gate cult. He organized their mass suicide in 97, claiming the lives of 39 people. Notably, Applewhite gave cult members new names upon joining, all of which ended in Odie. Example including Melody, Sprody, Alex D. Apparently I said the name wrong. I'm sorry. Marshall Applewhite.
Say? I thought you said Marshall Applewhite.
I might have said Applegate. I don't know.
Oh.
Get corrected in my chat. Okay. All right. Okay.
I got it. I knew what you're talking about. Heaven's Gate. I got it. Oh, one funny thing about cult leaders. A lot of them try to make music and they force all of their like cultists to listen to
L. Ron
it.
Hubbard did it.
Everyone fucking does it. And I don't know why.
Because how do you get to the soul, Marcus? Through music.
Wow. That's deep. Where is Keith Raniere's album? Nick, here's my fucking prediction. Are you ready? Are you ready to fucking hear it? He just was sentenced to like 120 years in prison. He's gonna fucking drop an album in prison. I bet you. Keith Raniere is gonna fucking drop an album.
Spoilers for the end of the documentary. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't watch the documentary. I'm just saying that, like,
oh god, you know, from the zeitgeist.
Who knows, guys? You heard it here first. If he drops an album,
all right,
you owe us.
Let's see. Last one. True knowledge is not attained by thinking. Knowledge is not attained by thinking.
That sounds like a spiritual leader.
Right.
I'm gonna go Gandhi. Gandhi has to be on here at some point.
Okay, I'm cool with that. It's a spiritual leader philosopher, but it's not Gandhi. It's Sri Aurobindo. It's an Italian. Italian. I fucking suck. An Indian philosopher, poet. He joined the Italian movement. Yeah. He joined the Indian movement for independence from British rule. For a while, he was one of the most influential leaders and then became a spiritual reformer, introducing his visions on human progress and spiritual evolution.
Guys, we are educating you on these cults. You're learning a lot. I'm learning a lot.
Here's the thing. Lexi gave us a bonus question. You ready? This is for all the marbles.
Okay, let's go. Bonus.
I wasn't keeping track of score, so if we get this, we win. If we don't, we lose.
I mean, Nick, if we count only victories and like our L's don't cancel each other out, then we got all of them right, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
100%, perfect score. Let's get the bonus point and get 105 on our test.
Let's go.
Humans can be noble. The question is, will we put forth what is necessary? That sounds like Star Trek.
That sounds like Keith Raniere or Star Trek, but also Keith Raniere.
My guess is Picard.
Keith Raniere stole shit. He fucking stole shit from like Star Trek also and Star Wars and shit. Like my dude is just all over the place being like, that sounds good. Gonna write that down. Make it part of my call.
All right, is that your final answer?
So much. Yeah, let's go.
You're right. Your man, Keith Raniere.
Yeah.
You know.
Good
Keith.
job. Good job. Thank you so much.
Which gets us into a great point as we kind of bridge into the second episode, because the second episode, this is wild. This is the wildest thing about the documentary, right? And I'm always blown away about this from documentaries when they can do this, is the footage they have. Because basically, your man Keith had Mark record him 24/7 at the place in Albany where they all lived. And there's so much footage to back up the documentary is saying.
Mark had a lot of footage that because he was just recording him constantly, and he was also kind of taken under the wing of what God, why am I Keith? And Keith, I mean, what
Your
does an
man and mine,
egomaniac
Keith.
love than a fucking personal cameraman that is making a TV show or whatever, a documentary about him constantly? You know, like
Yeah.
he fucking loves the attention. So yes, of course, he found this guy. And he was like, I want him to follow me all the time, get footage. That's why there's so much footage of all these guys. They're all fucking narcissists.
I just want to bring up one aside. Do you remember Anthony Weiner?
Yeah. Oh,
There's
that
a
documentary.
wonderful documentary on HBO, I think, of him because they thought he was going to be the comeback kid and win mayor.
Yeah.
They recorded everything leading up through that election, including everything with the scandal of him showing his dick to multiple women that were not his
Yeah.
wife. It is a phenomenal documentary because you're watching him and all his peers and wife and all his people running his campaign, like
Yeah.
galvanized, literally like running through the
Ready to
streets.
go.
He has New York City's heart because he's a reformed man.
Yep.
And then in real time in the documentary, is it all falling apart?
It's wild. It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing. They have so much footage of Keith Raniere because of that. But I do have to, while we're on the topic of footage, I have like one gripe that I
hope
feel
it's the
like
gripe I
I
have.
do need to say
Yeah.
because one of the reasons that I don't like, I like documentaries about cults and stuff like that. I don't really like them too much, but one thing I do like is that they put it through the perspective of a person, which is really interesting. You get to see a lot of like testimonials and you get a lot of interviews that are good that aren't normally in a podcast or something else. But I fucking hate the B-roll. I hate the B-roll so fucking much. It's the wildest shit. They just are forcing these people that were traumatized and they're re-traumatizing them so they could get an interesting shot while they talk about what the trauma that they're going through. They're fucking.
You mean when
just
Bonnie says
filming the
goodbye to
desert.
Mark? When Bonnie has to say goodbye to Mark from their marriage, and literally they film Bonnie sitting on Mark's lap and then crying and then walking away?
Yes.
You weren't there?
They weren't there. The
They made them
cameras
do
weren't
that.
there. They just fucking recreated all this stupid shit for the fucking documentary, and it's so
Wow.
stupid. The shots that they have a fucking aerial shot of Bonnie running in the fucking desert. And I'm like, leave that chick alone. She's been through enough. She doesn't have to fucking run around in the desert for your fucking B-roll. God,
To get
I
her
hated
fucking
it so
small ass
much.
paycheck, I'm sure they're getting for this fucking documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, I'm sure it's super cathartic for them. It's a reason why they're doing it, I'm sure. But also, I agree with you.
that B-roll is wild.
Just cut the episode by 15 minutes.
God, the episodes are long and they feel informative, but they waste so
The
much
pacing and
time
everything
on,
is
like,
good,
B-roll
but
and
I agree
shit.
with you about that B-roll. That was weird. Though, talking about this footage, so you find out that Raniere lives in just above Albany in Clifton Hills with tons of other fucking NXIVM people, and Mark moves up there, and it's just this whole weird little community where they all live, and they're like, and then you mentioned it, the wildest thing to me, and it's not the wildest, what's the word? Just like the most out of place thing for me was the volleyball. So basically, Keith had Clifton Park. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, multiple. I got it. Okay, guys, sorry. It's Clifton Park. I don't
Clifton
know
Park,
Albany.
okay? It's
Jesus
Clifton
Christ.
Park, Nick.
Guys, we're talking about volleyball right now. You're
know
missing
your
the point.
geography.
Basically, he had all these people playing volleyball almost 24/7 at night. So when he could show up and play volleyball, it was just so.
It's also
summer
funny.
camp.
I was listening to a podcast about it. Apparently, Keith Raniere would sleep all day and like not participate in things and have other people working and doing shit all fucking day long, which they touched on a little bit on in the documentary. And then he would wake up late at night and be like, now I'm ready to start my day. And everyone else is fucking exhausted from a whole day of doing tasks for him. And he's like, guys, let's go play volleyball. That's what I feel like doing. I just want to play some volleyball. It's fucking wild. It's the craziest part of the whole documentary.
What if everything about it was just so he could have some friends to play volleyball with?
I get it. I mean, like, there's not. I don't want. What's the opposite of a shout out? I want to bleep me when I say.
Okay.
But they're a company that they get people together so that way you can go and play whatever sport and shit. And so I joined a volleyball league. And it was a lot of Keith Raniere's there. Just a lot of people who just needed the attention. They needed something to fucking boost their ego. They wanted to prove themselves in a fucking pickup game. It was so annoying. But yeah, I got the same vibe that I got from this cult documentary that I did participating in the volleyball league.
So then the documentary does a really good job of like introducing Bonnie, who was this actress that got involved and met Mark. Mark involved her, and Mark's all high up there, and she like
Mhm.
joins and moves up the ranks. But in the second episode, she's the first one to say right away things were weird, but I
Yeah.
pushed through, and you get a lot of her story here about their marriage and how it all worked. And you know what's crazy? Mark recorded all the conversations about at the end of their marriage, at when she left and when he left, he recorded all the conversations. So you hear him talking to his wife about, I'm uncomfortable with this and I'm uncomfortable with that,
Yeah.
and him talking to Keith and saying like, hey, things are uncomfortable, and him basically saying, I was like, well, she didn't work hard enough. And then Mark talking to his friend
Yeah.
Sarah, and Sarah being like, oh, Mark, you should, you should be more involved, and him being like, did Keith tell you to say that? And she's like,
Mhm.
silence. Wild.
There's
Those
just this
conversations are wild.
overall acceptance of information that people have in this cult too, where they're just like told something, and as long as it's from the right sources, from their leaders, from the vanguard, they
Yeah.
are willing to just blindly accept it, which I totally get. Like we do the same thing. I mean, right now on fucking like TikTok, there's a million people being like, "This is how you make $1 million in a day. This is like this random fact about things. Did you know?" Blah 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 blah. And no one takes the second step to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna Google that. I'm just gonna check it out and see if any of that's fucking true." And yeah, it's like just wild to me that there's so much misinformation out there, and that it's so easy to become susceptible to it. And within the cult, you just end up following the same mentality and regurgitating bullshit that you hear.
Well, here's my question, Marcus. You asked me if I would join this cult. I'm not going to ask you the same question, Mike, because I think you would. My question is, at what point in all this information we're finding out from Mark and Bonnie, like, what point are you like, oh, is it the moment when Allie Mac says, oh, he controls my calories, or is it the moment when it's like, oh, you need to get to the 5th level to start making money? It's probably the money one. Like, where
So
are your thresholds?
I don't think I would ever join the cult because I'm just not a cult guy. Like I feel like I am too self-aware and have too much knowledge of cults, as proven by the quiz, that I don't think I would fall for it. But
But you wouldn't
could.
come to me if I was like super excited about something. You would come with me once, and then maybe
I
twice,
would
and
come
then
with you for
maybe get
sure,
caught
but
up if it was
I would
right,
not
if
get
it was
caught
done
up.
right.
But the second you have to put money into a thing is what would get me out immediately too, right?
Always,
Like
yeah, that's always you.
when you're like, hey, it's $1,000 to do this thing, I'm like, nah, I can't. I mean, I don't even like a fucking improv. I'm like, "No, it's $4, can't do it. It's a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
money."
improv's a cult. Improv's a cult.
It's a little bit of a cult,
You have to
but
pay money, move up the levels to audition, to
it
eventually
has the
teach
same.
and get
It's
to
it's a
perform.
cult shaped program, but you don't get rewarded for bringing other people in, which I think would be the
Oh, if
part
they
of it
added
that kind
that
of
one thing, then
solidifies.
it would be a cult.
Yeah, 100%. It would be a cult, and they also let you go home, I guess. But you become a part of a show. You become a part of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, man, I want to know like I want to know at what point you're like do like feelings go.
If I'm with you, if I'm with someone who's like, I am in it, I'm here for it, I feel like my
Well,
radar
let's do
goes
me.
off.
Let's do me. I'm
Okay,
I'm very emblazoned about my emotions and my beliefs. So like out of
okay.
all your friends, I think I'd be the one to be like, no, 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 the most. So like it's
Yeah, yeah,
me.
yeah. Okay, okay.
We're
So
there.
it's you.
Yeah.
You're in there. We're in there. I'm like, hey, dude, like, I think it's time to get out. The second they get you up there, you start talking about your emotions, and you're like, hey, man, I have everything to lay on the line. This is what I got, and they're like, give me $2,000. I'm like, no, they get
The
the
second
fuck out.
I tell you, I'm not scared of clowns anymore because they made me break a stick.
Then I'm out. Like, get out, get out, get out. I'm the guy who's yelling, get out in the movie theater for like
Yeah.
all the people. Like, I am there. I am the first person to see the red flags and be like, get the fuck out, dude. And I
Ooh,
would
that
want
means
the
you
same
die
thing
first.
from everybody. I know I would die first. I'm not surviving most things.
You're too smart. You're too smart. They need you
I
out of the
well,
way quick.
I would bail. You know what I mean? And on my way out, be like, guys, I'm just gonna go. On my way out, that's when they get me because I'm alone, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm walking into the car and then they slash my legs. But Nick,
Yeah.
Keith Raniere. Oh, okay,
Yes.
there's a couple things. There's a couple things that I want to talk
Okay.
about. Okay. I feel
You're
like,
you're
there's
like
not
ripping
enough
at the
time
seams.
tonight to get through everything. But first off, you mentioned your interest in Smallville, right?
Love Smallville. Yeah,
Did you have a crush on Allison Mackey?
for sure. She
I
was the relatable one. She was the like girl next
100%.
door one. Kristen Crook was
Yes.
like she was too in love with Clark. Fucking Lois was like meant to be with Clark. She was like
Uh-huh.
too good for me. She was like
Yes.
so like confident
Mhm.
and sexy, and I was like, I'm never gonna go her. But Chloe was like your friend
She
that
was
like you
approachable.
could
She
like
was the
follow.
nerdy one. She had a crush on
Yeah,
Clark. He
yeah.
didn't really notice her. I fucking loved
For
her.
for
I
like 9
was
seasons.
I was like, yes, this is my girl. This is what I want. This is like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So if she was involved in getting me, I could see myself joining. If they're like, hey,
Ah.
you get to hang out, you get to be with her, you get to date her. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I try it out. I'll try out the skull. What you got
Our
going on?
fans are saying they wouldn't let it. They wouldn't let that happen. They wouldn't
That's
let.
nice. Thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
don't know. Wait, hold on. I'm not sure if they're saying they wouldn't let that happen to us, or if they're like, "Psh, well, no woman would get me to join a cult." I'm not sure which one,
But I could see
but I
that
agree
being
with
a
you.
way that but it's amazing that they were able to get these celebrities, able to get these actors, able to get these people that are vulnerable. Do you think as an actor and as part of an improv group and things like that, do you think actors are more susceptible to cults than other people?
Marcus, do you want the honest truth of this?
Yeah, not you. Take yourself out of the equation.
I
But
don't.
like
I don't
just
need to.
overall
I don't
people you
need to.
know.
I don't need
Okay.
to because
Yeah, yeah.
as an actor and
Uh-huh.
improviser, comedian, living in New York City right now, I feel as if I'm a part of like 16 cults. I gotta pay to audition here. I gotta pay to play for classes, to get an agent. I gotta pay for improv. I gotta pay for headshots. I'm paying someone to make a voiceover demo for me right now. I am paying up the wazoo through all these channels.
Uh-huh.
What is acting in New York City if not a cult?
I agree 100%. I
It
think that
emotionally
especially
drains me. It
yes, it
emotionally
doesn't give
holds
you
me
anything.
victim. No, I need help. This is my cry for help.
I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like actors, because they're striving, like you pay so much money. It's college, right? Like as an actor, you pay
Oh,
so much
college is
money
a
to go
cult?
to college, take acting classes. You're already used to giving so much. And
Yeah.
also, all you want is return is someone to give you purpose. So I totally understand why there were so many actors involved in this cult and why they had their whole like own little acting
Yeah.
troupe and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
To be an actor, you have to be emotionally vulnerable, and it leaves you raw sometimes. And
Yeah.
extending a hand to people that are left raw and left being told no again and again, like no matter how good you are at it, there's a lot of rejection involved in acting. And no matter how much of a thick skin you have, getting told no a lot of times in a day is hard. So someone
Yeah.
coming along and saying, "Hey, you're enough. You don't have to feel that way." I totally get it.
I'm gonna start a
Totally get
cult,
it.
and all I'm gonna do is stand outside of a fucking audition and be like, "Hey, come sit with me for like a minute, and I just give
Easy
me
money.
5 minutes of your time."
Yeah, the
I
Marine
how
Corps?
hold
That's
me,
a cult?
the Marine Corps,
All those fucking shits. Fucking
everything's yeah. Anything that makes you feel like you're part of community, but you have to pay money and they don't give you anything in return. That's a cult.
yeah.
But yeah, no. If I wanted to start a cult, 100% just stand outside a fucking audition and be like, "Let's go, come join me, baby. I'll give you purpose. I'll give you reason."
The the crazy thing to me is I think the documentary does a really good job because at the end of the second episode, which is why I was so mad we can watch more, is they set up the lead into DOS, which is the subgroup in NXIVM
Mhm.
of women. And it doesn't tell you what it is in this episode, but you can guess because Bonnie talks to a friend and learns the phrase high control group and about people that are being controlled in a certain way by being told about the calories they eat,
Yeah.
about when and where they can go, what they can do. And the craziest, and they were talking about, they would get collateral on the people. Same thing like Scientology. Scientology does the same thing, but
Yeah.
somebody was approached. So the woman was approached and said, "Hey, there's this special thing that you could be a part of that I think would really help you." And the girl was like, "Okay, what is it?" And she's like, "I can't tell you." And she's like, "Why?" "Well, first, I need some collateral." "What?"
Yes.
"Yes, I need to know something so damning about you that you could never tell the secret before I could tell you." And then a little later, Mark calls Sarah, his best friend, to talk to her about him leaving.
Mhm.
And it's because he's found out about Das.
Yeah.
And she says, no, he says, "Have you been approached by this?" And then she
Yeah.
says something that's very shifty and says, "A person that's been approached to this can't say anything about it."
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he says, "So you were approached?" She's silent. And then he says, "Do they have collateral on you, Sarah?" And she says, "Are you recording this? Because I can't." And
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
and he immediately turns off the recording. And then the end of the episode leads into a picture of Sarah. And obviously the next episode is going to be about her experience with Das. But
Yeah.
that whole everything, wild.
I will say this, as the B-roll goes, I didn't like the final shot of episode 2 where they zoom in on Sarah kind of grinning a little bit like she's evil. Like she's not. She's also a victim of this whole thing. I
Yeah,
didn't like that. That was
I
in
agree.
poor taste.
I
Okay.
totally agree.
We've kind of like vaguely talked about Keith Raniere, but I do think before we wrap things up, we have to get into him like a little bit. I want to know what you
Sure.
think about him as a person and his views and things like that.
Ask me a leading question. What do you want to know about my relationship with Keith Raniere?
I want to know just anything. Like when you see him, when you hear him talk, what's going through your mind? When you like, are you annoyed by him? Do you like him? Is he charismatic? Like
I
what
wrote
vibes are
down
you getting?
right away. I wrote down both episodes opened up with this, and I imagine they all do, and because it's Keith Raniere explaining what NXIVM does, and they said it's to optimize their experience and behavior. And here's the thing that annoys me the most about Keith Raniere. There's a lot of things, but when he talks, he doesn't say a single thing.
Yep.
Not once during all these interviews and him talking. And we didn't even fucking mention the Tourette's documentary and all that bullshit. Like,
Oh,
what the
that
fuck
was a whole
that?
wild thing.
Is
where they
that
were like,
real? Like, did they really fucking cure someone Tourette's? Like,
I
and
don't
if they
know.
did, it's through manipulation, so it's
Yeah,
not healthy.
100%. Yeah.
But the way he talks is he never says a goddamn thing, and it's wild to me the way he
Yes.
talks, because he talks in this so on purpose subdued tone, like the phrase from the game: "Humans can be noble. The question is, will we put forth what is necessary?" That's not. I didn't say anything. I
Yeah.
didn't say anything, and he talks in this like he like pretend listens, right? Like you can tell like there's a quietness in him because he's pretend listening, and he's picking
Yeah.
and all he's listening for is what he can turn back and ask you back to make you go, oh. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's this fucking circle talk that he does where he's not saying
Yeah.
anything. It's like pseudo intellectual bullshit where he just like is I don't know, he's just saying nothing the whole time in an attempt to proselytize people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay, cool. This sounds great. You sound like a genius." Because they're not listening. They're not
Right.
truly listening to what he's saying, which is nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. What's and then the things he does, like talking about the volleyball, the waking up late.
Mhm.
There's this excruciating clip of him. Well, earlier in the film, they explained that he's like could be a concert pianist. He graduated here at 16, blah blah blah. And later in the second episode, he's at the piano and he makes some fucking aside. And I've heard this fucking excuse from so many fucking people in my life that I fucking hate it. And he says something to the effect of, "Oh, I used to be able to play things like that were harder than anyone could play, but I can't play them now because I've been focusing on this thing." But
yeah, oh man, I used to be able to fucking throw a baseball into the sun, when I was younger, but now can't do it no more. Now that people are watching, can't do it.
and then I got this leg thing, and then and then one of his fucking followers are like, "Oh yeah, it's still Beethoven to the rest of us," or whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah.
And it's like, this motherfucker does this all the time.
That's all he does. So I will tell you what I think. I hate Keith Raniere more than I hate any other cult leader. And honestly, like in terms of damage done, there's a fucking cult leader guy who I was listening to a podcast about recently where he was like, "I'm a surgeon. I can figure it out." And he started doing fucked up like surgeries and shit like that and botching them and shit to people in his cult. He's not that. He's not as bad as that guy, but I still like him less than that guy.
Explain
There's
why.
just something about Keith Raniere that is just so fucking annoying. He is just like a little man. He is just a little piece of shit who just needs to put other people down so that way he can feel better about himself. It's like the opposite of big dick energy. He has just small dick energy emanating from him constantly. Like he always has to
Even
be...
the way he kisses everybody.
Yeah, what the fuck? You know what the kissing comes from, Nick? The kissing is him being like, "I want to kiss all these women, but I don't want people to feel weird about it or think it's like too culty. So if I kiss everyone, I make the sacrifice, I kiss the men, then I can kiss all the women." That's what he's fucking thinking.
You're right.
He
That's
could be
you're
bi,
right.
I guess, but it doesn't seem that way considering he started a fucking subsect of cults of the cult that was only women for him to fuck. Like
And branded them.
and branded them too.
Gosh.
Disgusting. I hate this guy so much. He just rubs me. I watching this documentary movie was so mad. Like, I listen to a lot of cult things and I'm like, "Ah, that's fucked up. Oh man, that sucks. Ah, this guy's such an asshole." But this just gets under my skin in such a different way. I hate him.
Yeah.
It's all that like fake. It's all the fake bullshit that he's like, I'm a genius. I'm so smart. And that's another thing, like I said earlier, with the media just perpetuating this like narrative about him. I don't like it. I don't like people portraying him as some kind of fucking genius because he's not. He's just an idiot who's just regurgitating all this fucking bullshit nonsense.
Well, so far in the documentary, I do get the feeling that they are leading us to understand that he
Yeah.
isn't any of these things.
Yeah,
at
I think so
all.
too. I think
Like,
so too.
like at the beginning, Nancy, the the prefect, said he had a Guinness World Record for the highest test on an IQ test ever or something. And I was like, first of all, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's just
It's
not
actually-
a thing.
It's not true at all. And also, I think there was someone who like might have been in the Guinness Book World Records for like being like having a high IQ, and it was a woman. It was not him. So it's just a
Yeah.
fucking lie. It's just
It's
made
just
up.
a straight up lie.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah.
that so much.
Here's the thing.
God.
Do you think this guy is so brazen to where it's an outright lie, or did he like in third grade his whole class like put enough gumballs on a sheet of paper to get a world record? And he's like, yeah. I was in the Guinness Book of World Records. I also got high on an IQ test. I guess maybe those things are correlated. I don't know. You put the connection.
I think he is an intelligent guy, but he is not more intelligent than like any other successful person. I think he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
I think he
Well, he's a
manipulates
con artist,
people.
right? Con artists
he's a
are
con artist.
clever.
Yeah, they're
and
clever.
smart. Yeah.
I think he's maybe clever more than intelligent, you know?
Yeah. That's how I describe myself. I was telling someone the other day, like, I don't think I'm very smart. I think I'm clever. I don't think I'm that smart.
But he can trick people and he knows it.
Yeah.
It's such
And
bullshit.
I think the craziest thing is because we got to hear some of those conversations, which is why this
Mhm.
documentary is wild. Like
Yeah.
when Mark was confronting him about Das, just straight up confronting him, just asking, I think you are the leader and you know about it. And he's just like, no. Or no. At first he's just like, what would make you think that?
Yeah.
And I was like, you didn't say no, you idiot.
Yes. Also, the fact that he is constantly like, "Who's telling you this?" Like, obviously,
matter.
Mark is the intelligent one in that conversation because he's being careful. He knows not to name names. He knows like what to do and handle the situation. It's wild to me.
You know what that reminded me of so much? And
What?
this is wild. They just had a little bit of a tangent. They just had the women tell all on The Bachelor this past Tuesday. And in it,
Another cult.
yeah. I don't know if you follow anything, but a big thing this season, how is all the girls were bullies, right? All the girls
Yeah.
were drama-filled bullies. And during the woman tell-all, one girl, Katie, has been like the savior for people. Everyone's like, she should be the bachelorette because she's the one confronting people and saying, maybe we shouldn't say that anymore. Or
Yeah.
or telling Matt, hey, the house is toxic and someone's life might be ruined. You need to address it, right?
Yeah.
During the woman tell-all, all of America is on Katie's side. Right? Every forum that I've looked at on Reddit and Instagram posts, everyone's on Katie's side and thinks she's right, and all the other girls are bratty and bitchy. But
Yeah.
during the woman tell all, they all grouped up against her and were like, there wouldn't have been a problem if you didn't say anything to Matt. Or I feel like what you telling Matt that there was toxic in the house, what does that have to do with your relationship
Yeah.
with Matt? And none of them were like, yeah, no, I'm sorry for being a bully. It was nuts. It was
like,
crazy.
why did you tell him?
And yes, because on an unrelated note, just because the chat brought it up, there was one of the girls that everyone is pretty sure at least grew up racist. I don't know if she's racist now, but she went to a
Uh-huh.
Southern Plantation ball, and Chris Harrison went on an interview and defended her instead of saying this is a time for us as white people to grow and learn,
Oh, no.
and then needed to issue an apology and step away from the franchise for a little while.
Jesus Christ.
Bachelor Nation is wild. No, don't worry, Betty 007. He's coming back. He already said so.
Oh,
Don't worry.
No.
Chris Harris is
I don't want
coming
him back. Go away.
With a very nice polished apology about how he is now an advocate and an ally. Don't worry, he will come back.
100%. Yeah, he's gonna
Just like
fucking
Keith
virtue signal
Raniere
the shit out of
will come
everything.
back after learning from his. Actually, no, he's in jail, right? Like he
Yeah,
lost,
he's gonna go to jail. It's always
the
Allison
second
Mack.
season's going to be about the trial and everything. It got renewed
Oh,
for a
cool.
second season.
I didn't know there was a second
Yeah.
season. But Nick, you talked about we mostly made it through the whole thing that we watched, but you talked about Nancy, and I do think that Nancy's an interesting character.
There's so little about Nancy. I was like, what are they not
She's-
telling me yet?
She's the genius behind everything. That's I don't know that for sure, but she is giving me that vibe that she knows her shit. She knows what's what. She's like, apparently she has a background in hypnosis, and she like is the one like coming up with shit. Like she is. I think she comes across as a truly intelligent person who knows
And
how
she
to
saw
work the
Keith and was
system.
like, he can be my figurehead to make this happen.
Maybe not to that extent, but like some of
No,
that
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
say
She
it.
knows what she's doing.
Nancy's the
But there's another documentary about her on Stars. Interesting. That might be fun to watch. But
guys.
it's
I can
interesting
only
right now
get through
because
one documentary about next.
cults that make it out and the leader gets arrested, but the cult is still thriving, and like you have the truly dedicated people staying behind. Usually, the second in command will take over, and then the cult will like be around, but maybe not to the
Oh, like
strength that it's
Scientology?
been, like Scientology or whatever. So I think
What's the
that's
name of
also
the
what's
guy in
going to
charge
happen.
now?
I forgot his name.
Forgot to.
But I think that's what's happening with Nancy. I think now that Allison Mack and Keith Raniere are going to be in prison, I think she's going to maybe take over if she hasn't faced prison time. I'm not super up to date with all that stuff that's going on, but
She pled guilty to charges of conspiracy of racketeering under the United States, blah blah blah. And in 2008, found that she, along with Raniere, Allison Mack, and others, committed numerous crimes of theft, extortion, forced labor, sex trafficking.
But has she gotten any sentenced to time yet or no? So the other two, I think, recently, like maybe even I don't know how recent.
You know why I know she's a criminal?
Yeah.
Because the Wikipedia starts with Nancy Salzman is an American felon and the founder of NXIVM.
Yeah. So she's a wild card. I want to see how the documentary goes into it, how they like uncover more of her backstory too.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about all of that. I guess we can answer our questions because I'm already starting to answer them. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about from the show?
Let's answer. I think, man, I feel like I said everything I wanted to say.
Marcus,
maybe
say what you need to say. Say what you need to say.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say we have 3 questions at the end of the podcast. Those 3 questions are: did you like the show? My answer is I did like the show. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I had said my gripes earlier, but I did overall enjoy it.
I will also answer the question without using the word fun. I did not find this to be a joyous romp.
You didn't have a good ride? You enjoyed this?
But I did find it compelling. I think it's filmed in such a way. The amount of material they have because of Mark and his filming and everything, it's just wild. And when you get an unfiltered look at things like that, it's just fascinating. It's just fascinating, seeing everybody in these meetings and seeing everybody talk about these things and hearing the conversations. And that was only in the first 2 episodes. There's 8 more. What else do they got?
I know.
In terms of footage?
I'm interested to see.
That was enough to fill a whole documentary, and they have 8 more episodes. What more footage? What more conversations do they have filmed? What do they got? Which comes to our second question: will we continue watching it? And the answer is yes, because I need to know what else they got. Marcus?
I'm going to keep watching it. I feel like part of me didn't want to keep watching it because I was like, maybe I could just continue consuming podcasts or something else about it because this B-roll shit is kind of annoying. But I like the interviews and I like how in-depth they're going. I like seeing people talking about their experiences, which is unique to this. So I'm excited about it. I'm going to keep watching.
And the last question, Marcus, is would you recommend this show?
I would definitely recommend it. If you like cults, if you think this whole NXIVM thing is interesting, if you're like, hey, sex cult, what's that? What is that about? How did that happen? I would recommend this.
I would take that a step further, and I say I would recommend it to even more people because I think, hopefully, it doesn't work like this, but it does sometimes. Some people who read the Lorax do realize we have to cut less trees. Like, it does happen. So I would hope that by me recommending the show, a couple more people I know would get inside of a couple less pyramid schemes and be taken advantage of a little less. I honestly guess. Yes.
It's funny because they keep referencing this, they're like, this is a company. It's a multi-level marketing company. And you're like, that's a scheme. Like everyone knows it's a pyramid shaped scheme. Like, but it's really interesting because they know they're a cult, but they've put themselves forth as a business instead of like a religion or anything else like that.
Well, not everybody thinks it is, That's the crazy thing. Some people do and some people don't. Some people are so ingratiated and brainwashed, And you can hear it, right? You can hear it in Sarah's voice when Mark is talking to her, right?
Yeah.
She's not there yet. She's not at the place Mark is at with questioning things. She's like, I need to protect this place. I need to do my job. But she seems like a good person, right?
She does. I mean, these people
But honestly, who knows? Maybe
people.
she also did some horrible things. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna
they
find
might
out.
have done horrible things, but it's not their fault. They were being brainwashed. Like they do have to pay for it in some way, but I do feel bad for a lot of them.
Oh, you mean like
Mark,
Allison Mack and like those other people who went to jail?
Yeah, I don't feel bad for those guys.
Oh, that's what I meant. I don't know if Sarah's one of those people is what I meant. Like I don't know yet.
I got
like she
you're
could
right,
be. I don't freaking know.
But what I'm saying about the other guys, it's just I don't know. I feel bad for them. My heart goes out to everyone that
Yeah,
was a
same.
part of NXIVM. It's totally something that I could see so many people joining. A lot of
Yeah.
people are lonely and susceptible to these kinds of
Yeah,
things. And
guys, if you are a part of NXIVM and you want to come to our podcast and talk about it in a safe place, please get at us at Now Try This Cast.
let's go. We'll do it.
Let's go. Special episode.
We'll take it seriously. I promise. Did that seem
Only a
Did that seem
couple.
insincere?
Listen, I will ask you how you feel about the height of Keith Raniere, but I will also talk to you about the pain and suffering you endured.
Yes, and
They,
also
you know,
we'll find a way to work in The Bachelor too into that whole
it
conversation.
wouldn't be Now Try This without it. Marcus, that was the vow. Thanks one more time to Ran414, our Patreon. Guys, if you want to give us your suggestions, patreon.com/Now Try This Cast.
Yes.
Marcus, what are we doing next week, buddy?
Oh my god, next week. I felt like I haven't given you a challenge in a long time because we ended up
I
doing
felt that way
two
too.
challenges and then one of your challenges.
I felt that way because I doubled up on a game, so I feel like I've been making games for weeks.
Okay, Nick, my challenge for
Yeah,
you
sure.
is something that I am already going into it feeling like you're gonna hate.
Ooh, that doesn't happen too
But-
often.
But I thought it was a wild ride and a great distraction from the block party that's going on. And it's very fun. It is a movie that came out this year. So hashtag topical. It is the film Psycho Gorman. Do you know what this is?
Marcus,
Yeah.
I hate you with a burning fire. in my passion.
Why?
Because I have no idea what this is except for the title that you just told me, and this already sounds like the last. We're in Oscar season. There's so many
Uh-huh.
award-winning
Yes.
movies.
I've heard of the
Emmys
Oscars.
and the Golden Globes just happened. So
Yeah.
many. I'm sure there's like dozens of shows from that you have
Yeah.
not watched yet
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are award-winning, that are so influential, are about the times. I'm about to watch that that Judas movie that Daniel Kaluuya just won the Golden Globe for because it's
Yeah.
going to be provocative and
Oh, so
endearing.
good. Yeah, totally.
Instead, this week
Instead.
I have to watch. What is it?
Psycho Gorman. Nick,
Is that
I
one
watched.
word?
It's one word. I think so. Nick, I watched Minari, an incredible, beautiful, moving film.
Ooh, you watched that? I'm excited to watch that.
Winner. And instead,
words.
I chose to give you Psycho Gorman. So
Oh my god!
we are in for a ride next week, guys.
Why couldn't you give me Minari? I wanted to watch that.
It was
And
great.
now I won't have
loved
the
it.
time because what is this? I just looked up the fucking movie. What is this movie?
It's very good. It's a
The
very good movie,
tagline
Nick.
to the movie is "Little Girl, Big Psycho," and this guy looks like
Guys,
an elf.
Guys, if you want to find out what Psycho Gorman is about, if you listen to this episode and liked it, be
It's
sure
like
to...
you don't want us to have fans.
I do.
What is this?
This guy, the
Psycho
guy who made this movie,
Gorman.
is very nice, and also like, hey,
Oh, is
Psycho
he gonna be on the
Gorman
podcast?
creator. Maybe you could come on the podcast. Who knows?
Yeah,
We'll see.
good thing you know his name, so you can tell people to tweet at him right now.
Hold on. Hold on.
It's Steven
Psycho.
Kostansky.
Yeah,
Kostansky.
Steven Kostansky, my boy. I love him.
All right, guys. Guys, if you want to watch live, it's twitch.tv/Now Try This Cast. We record Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the VOD on Twitch the week after that. On Monday, everywhere you can get podcasts. Eventually, the VOD will be on our YouTube channel. Follow us on everything at Now Try This Cast. And join our Patreon to join the community at patreon.com/Now Try This Cast.
Thank you, Nick. That was beautiful. So succinct every time. Just perfect. Beautiful. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Now go out there and try some things.
Good night, guys.
Bye. Good night.
Friends get together so they can try things. How about it? It's podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Woo!
What the fuck is
Psycho
PG Psycho Gorman?
Oh,
A
man, I
Canadian
love it.
science
me
fantasy
stop real
horror
quick.
comedy. What is this? Better than Minari? Why couldn't you give me Minari? I won't have time to watch Minari this week because I'm gonna be watching this bullshit. Fuck.